Purple Trader, and this is Ash from Experience Required. And welcome to episode 6 of Well, Isn't That Interesting? And today we are talking about possession.
Dun, dun, dun.
We decided we're going to do the next couple of episodes with a spooky theme for Halloween. So, we thought possession would be a good kickstart to the Halloween spooky, interesting things. So there you go. Isn't that interesting? How you been?
Good. Getting tired.
Yeah.
Finally feels like fall. It's awesome.
Yeah. She doesn't do well in the heat.
Being kissed by fire and everything.
She's a phoenix.
Yeah. I got my pumpkins on.
Oh, I didn't even notice that.
Yeah. And my overalls.
This is like Halloween theme number 2. Isn't there some movie that's supposed to be run around in overalls killing people?
I'm sure. Yeah. That's not what I was going for, but...
Oh, okay. In a cornfield or something.
Although I do think I scared the crap out of your daughter when I walked up to the door.
Did
Standing there in my overalls all...
Hello. Open the door.
Let me in.
Okay. Well, speaking of possessed.
Thank you.
I guess we can kickstart this. This all started because she read a book by
Richard Gallagher, M.D., called Demonic Foes. And Richard Gallagher is a psychiatrist that became friends with a priest and sat in on exorcisms and did extensive research into possession and exorcism, obviously, and how people... So his idea is that, or was that, like, all possession cases could be explained by mental illness, essentially.
Yeah.
But then what ended up happening was after, 10, 15 years of research and sitting in on exorcisms and interviewing people that thought they had been possessed or that had been engaged in some sort of, like, ritual or what have you.
Right.
And then they, like, felt weird afterward or whatever. He finally experienced a single case that convinced him that it could be real.
So, what made him believe that this one case was real?
That I don't recall from the book. So you will have to read the book yourselves.
She was not paid for this promotion. Well, I think one of the things that I learned from this research that I've done is that I didn't realize how many, exorcisms and are still going on now.
Mm-hmm.
From what I read, I guess we should back up, okay? For those of you who are in the dark about possessions, um, it's not just for Catholics, okay? Multiple, like, one of the things I read said 74%, um, 74% of all societies believe in possessions. So, the highest, like, believe, like in the Pacific cultures, they're the ones that believe the most in possessions, and Native Americans believe the least in possessions. So, it's a spectrum, and it's varying degrees of what kind of possessions. Like, obviously, we all know about Catholics with demons, but Islam's, Hindus, obviously all the like African cultures believe they have, you know. So, did you say Buddhists? And
I don't know if Buddhists.
I read something about Buddhists in there. I mean, it's like everywhere.
If
and
you
it's
think
different,
about it,
different types of things.
every like established faith across the world and throughout history had some sort of belief about like spirits,
Right.
and so it makes sense that they also believe that spirits can occupy
Yeah.
a human or an animal or whatever, you know.
Right.
Or like take over another spirit, essentially.
Right. I forgot where I started off with that, but possession is when, you know, the general definition of a possession is when a demon or a spirit enters your body and takes over your consciousness and or your you know, takes over you and your soul, and you have no control over it. Mostly what I read about, and the most famous are Catholics.
Yep.
And that's where I was going with it, is now there are 150 priests in America who perform exorcisms. And so I didn't realize how, I mean, that seems like a small number, but that's actually quite a lot.
I think they Catholicism works like a corporation as far as like regional management, right?
Yeah.
So, you know, there's only 150 ordained exorcists.
Yeah.
Ordained by the Catholic Church in the United States, but they like head up their region of the United States.
Right.
So,
I mean, that's you saying it's like a corporation. It's kind of funny because the information where I got that from was the Catholic Encyclopedia.
yeah.
Like, it's kind of like a handbook, if you will. The employee manual for Catholics. But, I mean, so it's kind of, I think the one thing that you have to give credit to, though, is that they do say that people should be getting, you know, mental and physical exams before they are exercised, you know, and they know that that is an issue, that people can be having mental issues, and only before, you know, only after their mental state has been clear. If it can only be anything, you know, if it can't be anything other than a possession, that's when they'll do
Yeah.
in exorcism.
Mm-hmm. But that wasn't always the case.
Right.
And people got hurt and people died.
Well, just as recently as 2018, people have died from exorcisms. Mostly, I think, I'm not, I think it was in New Jersey in 2005 is when, there was a boy who drowned from an exorcism. Yeah. Like, because he was autistic.
Damn.
Yeah.
So things haven't changed much in like 200 years.
One of the, so I think what's hard about this subject too is that what's to say, you know, like a mental illness, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because I mean, there's always this fine line between faith and, well, someone like me who I am without faith. I'm atheist, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I could easily walk up to somebody and just say, well, that's crazy. That is crazy. You think that you're possessed? You're crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Right? But someone who is, you know, Catholic or, you know, anything could say, well, but that's the whole point of faith. That's the whole point of religion, is to believe.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
But then it's like the Skeleton Key, right?
Yeah.
That movie where they're doing like hoodoo magic or whatever. And they're like, it can't hurt you if you don't believe in it. So essentially you're safer than anyone else.
Right. Right. And, you know, as time goes on, more and more mental illnesses are being recognized.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, 200 years ago, thank you, Iron Man. You know, especially in the past 100 years, you know, more and more are being recognized. One of which was, you know, epilepsy. That was like one of the ones that they're saying people were possessed by, you know.
Yeah.
Possessed by okay, for any of you who don't know, I'm epileptic, okay? Disclaimer, biased, okay? I find it kind of weird when people say that epileptics are possessed because, like, you come out of it without anybody doing anything.
Right.
Like, hey, I'm a witch, goddammit, I'm not possessed. Yeah, so it doesn't make any sense when somebody says to me that their thought process is that they're possessed.
Mm-hmm.
Because you come out of it right away. Or,
right,
you know.
Well, and there's even, like, with, you know, various mental health conditions, like, schizophrenia.
Mm-hmm.
If you are under enough stress, like, the existing damage or deficiency within your brain can throw you into a seizure without epilepsy.
Yeah.
Like, I worked in a group home,
mm-hmm.
taking care of people with, you know, mental disabilities, and one of my clients was schizophrenic, and he had seizures, and he would, you know, freak the fuck out and throw himself on the ground and slam his head against shit, and
yeah,
and I never was like,
he's possessed.
demons!
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of hard to believe, to take that leap of faith, going from seeing a medical condition and then jumping to the conclusion that it's because of something religious, whether that's possession or whatever. I'm a little quiet, by the way.
Maybe we should do this.
Is this better? Hello? Okay. Is it a lot quiet or a little quiet?
It's gone.
Okay. Is this better? Anyway. Hold on 1 second. We're gonna fix our microphones, I think. We're gonna try. Is this better? Is this better? Hello? I need to possess the volume button. Is this better? Okay. Okay, bye. Okay, I'm glad we got that fixed. Alright. So, anyway. I don't know where we were.
Mental illness.
Okay, so, well, I guess we can move on to a different thing. What I didn't know is that there are 6 different, the Catholic Church has 6 different.
I think you mean the corporation.
The corporation. The corporation has 6 different ways of like defining demonic interference. So there's possession, obviously, but then there's obsession, where a demon might go into your thoughts and give you obsessive thoughts, like.
Okay,
obsessive.
but that is true of anxiety disorder, depressive disorder, bipolar disorder. You know, ADD, ADHD, like obsessive thoughts is
and it says usually
symptom.
Usually through dreams. Squinty eyes. Iron Man says we call that bipolar, people. Okay. The third one is oppression. So like misfortune.
Yep.
So like, you lose your house or you lose your job or
you break your leg.
Yeah. Or somebody smacks your hand when you already broke a finger.
That's not misfortune.
That's intent. The fourth one is external pain. Oh, that's 3 and 4, Iron Man. Infestation. So, houses, objects, things, animals, so like Ouija boards.
I think it's shit, what is it? Jewish people have what is called a Dybbuk box.
Oh yeah, I was reading that and I could not get Babadook out of my head when I was reading that word.
So a Dybbuk box, like you put items in it that are attached to like an entity, like an evil spirit or a demon or whatever, like objects that essentially bind the entity to the box and then lock up the box.
Oh, so
But then if somebody opens the box,
it's like a Pandora's box.
it's like, surprise!
I'm gonna repress the depressed rest of the best test of possession recession.
Alright.
Okay. And then subjection is involuntary, or is voluntary.
So that would be like a ritualistic, like opening up of yourself,
yeah, like a seance,
to reception of, spirits or demons or whatever.
Yeah.
Okay.
They also have the characteristics of a possession. Okay. So, obviously, superhuman strength. Like when you see in the movies.
But also, schizophrenic people have bouts of that. Even old people with dementia get, like, wildly fucking strong periodically.
Speaking in tongues. What do you have to say about that?
Speaking in tongues. So, does that include, like, speaking in other languages that you don't know?
Right.
So, speaking in tongues is a fucking weird-ass thing that I don't agree with any validity behind it. But that's a thing that, like, my husband's mom believes in.
Yeah.
From going to gospel churches and stuff like that.
Revelation of knowledge. So this means like saying things that you wouldn't know.
Like that you would have no way of knowing.
Right. So if I, said something to you like, oh, when you were 6, or like I know what you're thinking, or
right.
And then they called it blasphemous rage, profanity, and aversion to
religious objects.
Yeah.
Scripture,
Yeah.
prayer, holy water.
Yeah.
All
I think
tools of the corporation.
My thing that I see, like, for that can just be show. If you're, especially now, if you've heard about it, if you see it on TV, you basically know what a possessed person is supposed to be like.
Yeah, but at the same time, I feel like with movies and TV and stuff, it's still so grossly dramatized.
Yeah.
And, like, overdone. Just like with, haunting stuff or whatever. Like, they have to overdo it because it's not actually that impressive if you witness it firsthand.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, but that's what I'm saying. Like, with this, I'm like, okay, someone probably, based on that, I am, like, I cuss all the time. Like...
And you have epilepsy.
Yeah.
Come at me.
Yeah. You throw a cross at me, I'm probably gonna be pissed off. Like, you know, I don't know if I'll be speaking in tongues, but you're not gonna really be able to understand what I'm gonna be saying because I'm gonna be so pissed. But, I mean, it just seems like the qualifications for this are kind of, you know, vague, and you know, you can explain them away. You know?
Which was like the whole purpose of Richard Gallagher's research, was to debunk the theory of possession, or the, you know, belief in it or whatever.
Yeah. Oh, one of the things too is, so like I said, they don't really, I think I said this, but there's nothing in, okay, first of all, I'm getting a little distracted. Yes. I am distracted by the pitter-patter of the big feet that are upstairs. It sounds like a devil. Giant feet. But the, it's MDM, right? The medical journals that recognize, they don't recognize anything regarding demons or possession or anything like that.
Right.
They do have monomania, and a subsection of that is demonomania, which is the illusion of having a demon inside of you.
Right. So, somebody with schizophrenia.
Yeah. Says.
Who goes to mass 3 times a week or whatever. I don't know how that's structured, but
Nick's mom goes to mass 3 times a week.
Oh, well, ding, I got it. Schizophrenia, you go to mass, you know, Hollywood has been, like, pumping this crazy idea out there for decades now. And you're having a fucking episode, and suddenly it's not that you're schizophrenic, it's that a demon has possessed you, like,
Yeah.
and you're, like, you are convinced of it.
Yeah. One of the things that they're saying about exorcisms, so they're saying that the power of suggestion, the reason why the reason that exorcisms work is because it's the power of suggestion. Or, this is a term so weird, shamanistic complex. Okay? Really hard to look at. It's basically, so a shaman, right, can be in the form of any religion, right? Like, so a shaman's a priest. But because you believe in your priest, that he will do right by you, therefore he does right by you. So just the power of belief in him, it's a placebo effect, basically.
Yeah.
Like, it's only working because you believe in him.
Right.
That he's gonna do good.
Well, wouldn't that be like
like a medicine doctor, or what are they called? The medicine man.
Yeah.
Medicine men. Like, so like the only reason those treatments work is because you believe that they're gonna work.
Faith healing and shit.
Yeah. It's like, that's why those, like the exorcisms work. It's
Mhm.
because you're believing that it's going to work. Because he's performing it.
Right. So, what if they sent a priest that you didn't know
He still,
to exorcise you?
he still has the collar, right? Still part of the corporation. Right?
So, it's your, like, faith in the church as a whole
Mm-hmm.
that
Right.
alleviates the symptoms of whatever you're experiencing. Okay.
Right. So, you think you have a demon in you.
Mhm.
You think the only way to get it out, to fight the evil, is with the good, and the good is the church.
Right.
And you see a man come in with the collar,
Mhm.
you know.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah.
So, I am, I guess. So, you are an atheist. You don't believe in anything. I believe in infinite possibility.
Yeah.
So, while I am skeptical of a lot of things, I do like to explore the possibilities of those things. But also, as somebody who has diagnoses of mental health problems, I have had times where I was like, I don't feel like myself.
Yeah.
But never a time where I was like, there is a demonic force invading my life and I need help.
Well, but if so, you grew up in a religious setting, though.
Mhm.
If you maybe were acting extremely unlike yourself,
Mhm.
and you were in a setting where they were, you know, they believed that you could have been, that if it weren't your, if it wasn't you, it
Mhm.
could be a demon.
Right.
I mean, that's how you get there.
Yeah. I do remember being like probably about 5, and I had like for an extended period of time had like recurring nightmares, and I would wake up every night like sweaty and crying and like freaked out and whatever. And so one night my parents called their pastor to our house,
Mm-hmm.
and he came over, and so when I woke up, as I had been doing every night, and like around the same time I had a really strict bedtime, so it would be, you know, like 2 or 3 hours
Mm-hmm.
after going to bed I would wake up, and waking up and the pastor being there, which was bizarre to me, and then being anointed with oil. So he like had like a little vial of oil, like that's blessed or whatever, and he marked a cross on my forehead and like prayed over me and then sent me back to bed. But I like that is at 5, you're like, I had an exorcism.
Well, I mean, it's not an exorcism, but that is, it's not close, but it's you know, within the same belief realm, right?
Right.
They're trying
Well,
to.
and it didn't change anything.
Yeah.
I was a child. I had an overactive imagination. Yeah. I was terrified of everything.
Yeah.
Because I was so sheltered.
Yeah.
By my parents and like being in a religious household and in church and whatever, like it it didn't change anything. It didn't like affect me on some deep kind of level. Like, yeah. But it made my parents feel better about me being scared of everything.
Yeah.
And having nightmares. Like,
yeah, at least you're psychologically, you know, something's wrong with you psychologically, not demonically, I guess.
Right. So then, you know, you have to think about, because when you're a kid and you're in church, and I mean, this has changed, I feel like, a little bit since we were kids, where, like, at school, right, the staff actually talk to the kids. Mm-hmm. And try to get, like, a kid's side of the story.
Yeah.
Before addressing things with parents. Mm-hmm. But when we were kids...
Oh, yeah.
Every fucking thing was whatever your mom and dad said about it, that was it.
Yeah.
And so, how many little kids, how many 5-year-olds having nightmares every night, their parents went to a fucking priest and were like, you need to perform an exorcism on my child.
Yeah.
Because it's only been, you know, in probably the last 20 years that they've actually started considering, like, mental health factors or biological factors.
Yeah.
Before performing an exorcism.
Yeah. Well, I mean, because, that was only, like 30 years ago.
Yeah.
You know, that, for you.
It was 29 years ago, thank you.
Disclaimer, I don't know exactly how old she is. It's a rough estimate. Yeah. But, like, still, that's like 30 years ago, you'd think, you know, that's the 90s, you'd think people would be like...
No. Your parents could take you to a psychiatrist and tell them, I think this thing is wrong with my kid. And you go home with a fucking prescription for narcotics.
Yeah.
When you're 13, you know.
Yeah, I mean, that's how a lot of these, you know, possessions, well, and that kind of explains a lot of the ones that are happening now, because a lot of these are happening in less developed countries now. Like, I wouldn't say that they're, like, third world countries, but, you know.
Right.
But, I mean, a lot of them are happening in, you know, South America, mm-hmm. and a lot of them are happening in the Pacific countries, like, you know, Thailand and, I don't know.
Whatever's over there.
The other ones. But yeah, you know, it's, mental health is not as recognized, and they don't have access,
right,
to mental health care.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I think here in America, Catholicism is on a down slope. where, as in other countries, that's a huge part of their culture is just religion, you know. Even if they maybe don't necessarily believe in it, they still live it.
Right.
You know?
Mm-hmm.
Like, they go to church all the time and they do the things and they have the candle, you know, the candles and they do all the things because that's what's culturally appropriate. Not necessarily religiously.
Right.
You know? And that I wanted to talk about was, like, mass mentality and mass hysteria. I think a lot of these things, a lot of these possessions come from mass hysteria.
Right.
You know?
Well, just like you were saying, exorcisms only work through the power of suggestion, right?
Right.
Who's to say that possessions don't only occur through the power of suggestion?
Well, yeah, I mean...
Because it's the same people that are gonna exorcise your fucking demons that are gonna be the first ones to tell you that you have demons in the first place.
Well, it's... Yeah, I mean... Well, you have to have... You know, the players. Someone who believes that they're possessed. Someone to buy into it. Right? And then somebody to exercise that.
Yeah.
So, I mean, all of these people can all be convincing each other of all of these things. Like, I'm convincing you I'm possessed, or you're convincing me I'm possessed.
Right.
Or the priest is convincing me I'm possessed. Or, you know, it's like this, you know, big circle of everyone's just like,
yeah.
You know, this mass hysteria of, you know, she's acting funny.
Yeah.
Or we're bored this Sunday.
Yeah.
Like.
Right.
Or we just don't like that person. In this town of 100 in the middle of, you know, South America, we don't like this one person. And.
Because she has epilepsy.
Yeah.
But we don't know what that is.
Yeah.
So it must be evil.
Yeah. Like. Or autism. That kid
right.
who died with autism. And they tried to exorcise him by putting him in, I think it was a pool. Like a swimming pool. And they drowned him.
Turn it into holy water?
I don't know. But I mean, like...
Yeah. What the fuck?
Or, you know what, Mother Teresa, she had an exorcism. Mother effing Teresa had an exorcism.
Yeah. In a lot, I think more in like, more underdeveloped countries, the stigmata is like a big part of possession, right?
Yeah. Well, and I don't know if that necessarily, like, on the person, but they definitely believe, like, there's, like, two different kinds of possession. Like, so, like, I can't remember the name, but, you know, like, Mexican Catholic is different than, like, you know, Roman Catholic.
Right.
But they, you know, they believe that, you know, the Mother Mary, her spirit will possess somebody or something also. So, you know, that's why they go to these holy sites and visit, you know, like the Mother Mary who's, like, allegedly crying, or, you know, it's a statue that's crying. And it turns out it's like this is a true story. Turned out it was a leak in the toilet system, and everybody was like, kissing the statue's feet.
That's perfect.
Yeah. Or like, when somebody they have statues with the the stigmata in their hands and they think it's like a sign or something like that, and it turns out it's like the priest over there with the permanent marker, like not really. That's not a true story. But
you have all these red Sharpies.
Yeah. We cannot spend $8 every week on Sharpies. But yeah, actually in possessions, in real life possessions, in real life possessions, cutting and stigmata and things like that, that is not real. Like, nobody gets hurt as much or anything like that. Hi, Flo Hosen. We are. How are you? But anyway. Yeah. So, as far as I can tell, from my research, they don't get as, like, injuries as much as, like, in the stigmata situation.
Thank you for tuning in.
Yeah, thanks. Oh, Germany. Oh, thanks. Thanks for following. Appreciate it. We're, but I think because I don't think there's much more about, possession or anything. If you have any more comments about possession. What did you think was most interesting in your research that you found?
So my research was done like 2 years ago.
Yeah?
Reading that book
yeah.
that I referenced. And then, the countless movies about the subject. I will say that I had one kind of freaky experience as a teenager at a Christian summer camp.
Those are never good.
And and
what, Christian summer camps are all over the world? Yeah, they should be banned.
Yeah, I had like a weird, unexplainable experience there that, there were 4 other witnesses to, and Christian and Summer. Okay. And I still, am not swayed either way. Like, I don't identify as being a Christian. And as I said, I believe in the infinite possibility of literally anything being anything. So, that said, can't explain it, don't know what it was. Being that it was in a Christian setting, the witnesses to it had their theories, but...
Did you get stigmata?
No. I had, like, marks on my back, though.
Like trying to get out of you? Or what?
No, like, I got pushed to the ground. And, at camp, outside in the dark, just all of a sudden got thrown to the ground and had marks on my body. So
everyone was all like, "That's a demon!"
everyone was like, "Stay away from her."
She's a demon. Yeah. That would be scary. Growing up Catholic, I mean. I don't think I've ever really had much in the way of experiences. Iron Man, I wish. He said that he saw eyes in the back of, like, a closet one time. Like demon eyes.
I've had several very strange experiences. Unexplainable. I don't attempt to try to explain them. Mm-hmm. What I can say is every single time that I experienced something bizarre, there was at least one witness to it.
Yeah.
So I know I'm not that crazy. But
well, there was that time that we so our next door neighbor, and she died, and we heard music coming from her house.
Oh yeah.
Remember that? Mm-hmm. And he heard it. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was creepy. Yeah. No one was there. She was dead.
She was dead like
a year.
Somewhere else, wasn't she?
I don't know if she actually died in there or not. I don't know.
I thought she got murdered too. No, I think we just thought she got murdered. No, she didn't get murdered.
The one who got murdered was the wife in my mom's house, remember?
And the kids.
And the kids.
Got it. Okay.
That's okay. That's a whole... okay, there's a ghost story for you, alright? She can attest to how creepy this place is. So, my mom lives in like a ranch-style house with a basement. And they bought this house from a guy who literally dug out the basement bucket by bucket. Okay? And like there's like this crawl space room, and it's just like this creepiest, it's like a cave, right? That he dug out bucket by bucket. Well, when they signed the papers to this house, he said that the wife and the kids had already moved out. Nowhere to be seen. Okay? Except for there's all this weird shit that happens in the basement, like, and around the house. Like, we found all these like buried army men hiding in the, in the garden, like they're just dead. Mm-hmm. Or, okay, so here's the creepy story, alright? I go downstairs because I used to live down there, and the vacuum is on, but it wasn't plugged in. Alright? The vacuum wasn't plugged in.
It was a demon.
Yeah. I mean, it would have been nice if, like, the floor was actually cleaned, but it wasn't. It was just on, but whatever. Oh, hello, Squared Mo. It was not a wireless vacuum. I am not that rich. It was just like a regular handheld vacuum. It was a freaky ghost vacuum because he killed his wife. And that, I'm sticking to my guns on that one. That he killed his wife and buried her in the basement.
And the kids.
And the kids. Oh, and the other one was, so there was like a door to the crawl space room. It was a whole room.
Ew.
And, like, the door would be, like, mysteriously opened.
Ew.
She gets freaked out by that room all the time. Yeah, it would just be open for no reason. Ugh. Yeah.
Oh my god, when I was dog sitting for your mom, I was so fucking scared in her house.
Yeah.
Because every time I went over there, I was by myself. And I went over there at night a couple times.
Yeah. It's freaky.
Uh,
Yeah. Just weird shit going on all the time at that house. One of my cousins spent the night there. She said that she saw a ghost.
Oh.
I've never actually seen a ghost. But
I was watching Beetlejuice right before I came over. And according to their handbook, most living people won't see the dead.
oh, well, Beetlejuice is the ultimate authority on ghosts. So there you go. That's why
Yeah.
we can't see them.
Yep.
Yeah. So I don't know if there was much else about possession. We should have looked more into the stigmata thing. I was super obsessed with stigmata and spontaneous combustion when I was a kid.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Like both those things.
Did you see the movie Stigmata?
Fuck yeah, I did. that was like the best movie. Man, if they had like Google when I was a kid, like it would have been amazing. I had to rely on like books.
Yeah.
And movies.
And then AOL.
Yeah, dial up. Even then, I don't think they even had Google when I was a kid.
No, it was Ask Jeeves.
Oh yeah, Ask Jeeves.
And it was not correct.
There were
a
like
lot of the
5
time.
websites in the entire
No results found.
No. Spontaneous combustion. We have notified the FBI. Resting like a 7-year-old. I remember that. You know what it was? It was in that. I used to have this book called Ripley's Believe It or Not.
Oh yeah.
They still make those.
Uh-huh.
But I got that book and I was like, oh my god, this is so cool. And it had that, had a whole like article about that.
The spontaneous human combustion.
Yeah.
I watched, I think I learned about that on like one of those unsolved mystery shows or something.
Mm-hmm.
Because even back then, that show was my jam.
That's my jam.
Oh yeah.
Alright, well, do you guys, if you guys have any comments, let us know. Like, subscribe, follow. This is Ash from Experience Required. I am Purple Trader. And, yeah, it's ending. I'm sorry. Yeah. I know, it's a bummer. No.
We will be back
We will be back.
with more
Content.
creepy stuff to talk about in
Yeah.
honor of October.
We are doing one a week, about 5 more minutes. We okay, I guess. Anyway, we're doing one a week about spooky stuff. So, like, what were our things? I have a list here.
What are you
We were gonna do.
what's Thomas gonna do?
Oh, we have a friend. I know, surprising. We have one of them. And he's a Satanist. So we're going to have a special guest who will talk to us about being a Satanist. And then ghosts and hauntings. That was one of them.
Mm-hmm.
Folklore.
Oh yeah, that's
Like
fun.
Sasquatch, Loch Ness. Oh, and what was that one? For the Irish. I
Changelings.
The Changelings. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Shamanism?
Oh, we talked about that, and you weren't here. Where were you? In this episode, you missed it. I mean, we talked about it a little bit, so I don't want to make you feel that bad. Buying Mountain Dew with cat in the car. That's a weird lifestyle. We can make that an episode.
Hey, one time I got real creeped out, and there was a kitten involved, and I took the kitten in the car and went to Walgreens for a snack. So
no judgment. Yeah. So we have. Oh, and we had one about national parks. Turns out that one didn't have a lot of information. As much information as we thought.
That one will require more research than we had time to do. But
I don't want to hear it if it's bad. Is it me or her?
we are in suspense.
Yeah, suspense in the making. It's probably me. Roseanne is probably me. I do not sound like Roseanne. I don't think.
I don't think so either.
Yeah.
But, I don't know.
Like 90s Roseanne? I don't know if 90s Roseanne is better than 2023 Roseanne, but...
Well, she wasn't talking about Hitler and the Jews and stuff in the 90s.
That's true. That's true. But... rude. I deserve a follow for that comment, is what I'm saying. She said, okay. Okay, I'm sorry. Oh, we were going to do one about lab rats. Animal testing.
That's not Halloween, though.
That's not Halloween, though.
We're going to try to stick to spooky themes for October. And I may not always be here for them, but I will be back.
Yeah. This is my channel. She's my guest. And my BFF.
What's happening to the camera?
I was focusing on my hand, I think.
Oh.
I thought my hand was a person.
Oh my god.
No, she's not my neighbor.
We're besties.
Yeah, we're besties for the resty. Yeah. Yeah. Work. We met at work. It was boring. Yeah.
Well, it started as work friends, and then it was outside of work friends, and then she abandoned me at work. Yes, bar friends.
Yeah.
Then blown out knee at the bar friends.
I broke her knee. And then so I gave her another job
Yeah.
to make amends.
Now we work together again. And it's beautiful.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, what happened was, this is what happened. We were getting crunk, and we were out by the car. I was more crunk than her, and and she was trying to get something out of the car, and she, like, the parking lot was like dirt gravelly, and her leg went like this, except for her. It went backwards.
Just look at flamingo legs. That's what I did.
I did not run her over. I don't run over best friends.
I stepped in a dip and I slipped at the same time, and I flamingoed.
Yeah. So her knee broke. Actually, her ACL.
Yeah.
And then she had to get dead people put in her knee. His name's Bob. Possession.
Oh my god. Hence the second surgery.
Yeah. She had to get 2 surgeries out of that. So.
That was her birthday
Does
present,
your knee
by the
torque
way.
random? Does your knee torque randomly? No, but her booty do.
Oh my god. Okay. Well. On that note.
Bob is making himself known. Bob does make himself known. Every once in a while. When she wants to kick someone's ass, I have to hold him back. But, not usually. But I believe it's been more than 5 minutes. Squared mo. What does squared mo mean? You're welcome. Nickname is short for Mo. How is squared Mo short for Mo? Ah. Well, Momo. Oh. Well. Thank you for following me, and you have a wonderful evening, and check us out on the next podcast thing. Have a good night. Bye.